Close your eyes now and let the weight of the day simply fade away. Take a deep, slow breath, feeling the air fill your lungs, and then gently release it, letting your shoulders drop and your muscles soften. You are safe here. You are comfortable. There is nowhere else you need to be, nothing else you need to do. Just listen to the sound of the words and let your imagination drift like a ship floating effortlessly through the quiet, velvet expanse of space. Imagine for a moment that you are looking up at a night sky filled with stars, millions of tiny diamonds scattered across the darkness. Each star is a sun, each sun a story, and tonight we're going to travel between them, not with urgency or speed, but with the slow, drifting pace of a dream. We are going to explore the quiet corners of a galaxy we know so well, but one that has shifted, changed, and settled into new patterns. These are the timelines that might have been, the paths not taken, now unfolding before us like a gentle river finding a new course to the sea. As you continue to breathe deeply and rhythmically, imagine yourself standing on a balcony high above the clouds. The air is cool and misty, carrying the scent of rain and ozone. This is Bespin, Cloud City, floating peacefully in the orange and pink hues of a setting sun. The wind here is a constant, soothing hum, vibrating through the metal railings, a lullaby of high altitude. In the distance, you can see the twin-pod cloud cars drifting lazily on their patrols, silenced against the massive billowing cumulus towers. It is here, in this suspended city of light and vapor, that a young man named Luke Skywalker faces a choice. In the story you remember, there was conflict, denial, and a leap into the unknown. But tonight, in this quiet vision, the energy is different. There is no screaming, no fear. There is only a profound, settling silence. Imagine Luke standing on that gantry, the wind whipping his hair, the hum of the lightsabers fading into a low drone. He looks at the armored figure before him, his father, Darth Vader. The black mask reflects the ambient lights of the city, amber and soft blue. The hand is extended, a gloved palm offering not just power, but connection. In this version of the dream, Luke's heart does not race with panic. Instead, it slows. He feels a strange, heavy calm settle over him, like a warm blanket on a cold night. He looks into the dark lenses of his father's mask and senses the deep, weary solitude within the man. He realizes that the fight is over. He is tired of fighting. The galaxy is too big, too chaotic, and he is just one young man looking for his place in the stars. Slowly, deliberately, Luke deactivates his weapon. The humming blade vanishes with a soft hiss, leaving only the sound of the wind. He steps forward. The metal beneath his boots feels solid, grounding. He reaches out and takes his father's hand. It is a moment of absolute stillness, a pivot point around which the entire galaxy slowly begins to rotate in a new direction. There is no sudden burst of music, just the quiet acceptance of a new destiny. Imagine them walking side by side back into the warmth of the city corridors, leaving the wind behind. They board a shuttle, the ramp sealing with a pneumatic hush, shutting out the rest of the universe. As the ship rises, lifting away from the orange clouds and piercing the veil of the atmosphere to enter the cool, black silence of space, Luke feels a sense of belonging he has never known. He sits in the co-pilot's seat, watching the stars stretch out into lines of light as they make the jump to hyperspace. The hum of the engine is a deep, resonant vibration that travels through the hull, a sound that encourages sleep, a sound that says the journey has begun and you can rest now. In this timeline, the galaxy does not erupt into immediate war. Instead, a hush falls over the systems. Luke learns not through frantic battles in swamps, but in quiet, dimly lit chambers aboard the great star destroyers. He learns the patience of the Sith, which is different from the patience of the Jedi. It is the patience of a predator waiting in the grass, the patience of a mountain waiting for the rain to wear it down. He sits for hours in meditation, focusing on the flame of a single candle, learning to pour his emotions into it until the flame turns cold and blue. He learns that anger can be a cold thing, a focused thing, sharp and clear like ice. His father is there, a silent guardian, teaching him the ways of history, the ancient texts, the secrets of power that have been hidden for millennia. It is a time of study, of quiet conversations in rooms where the only light comes from the viewport looking out onto the slow rotation of a planet below. The rebellion fades not with a bang, but like a fire dying down when the wood is gone. Without their golden boy, the hope shifts, changes, becomes something more subtle. Leia, sensing the change across the vast distances, feels a melancholy settle in her heart, but it is a soft feeling, like missing a friend who has moved far away. She looks out at the stars and knows he is gone, and in that knowing, there is a release. The galaxy becomes a place of order. It is a stricter order, yes, but there is a rhythm to it. The trade lanes run on time. The chaotic noise of the Senate is replaced by the singular voice of authority, echoing softly through the halls. And eventually, in the deep silence of the throne room, a final transition occurs. Not a chaotic battle, but a passing of the torch. The old emperor, withered and dry like an autumn leaf, is simply swept away by the vibrant, terrifying strength of the new. Luke stands at the window of the Death Star, looking down at the green jewel of Endor, his father beside him. They do not speak. They just watch the moon turn, a slow, hypnotic dance of gravity and light. The galaxy breathes in and the galaxy breathes out, held in the palm of a hand that is both familiar and changed. Now, let the image of the black stars and the metal stations fade. Let it dissolve like mist in the morning sun. Replace the cold metal with the warm, golden light of late afternoon. You are on Coruscant, the city planet that never sleeps, but here, in the office of the Supreme Chancellor, it is quiet. The thick, transparent walls muffle the noise of the trillions of beings outside to a gentle, distant hum, like the sound of the ocean heard from far away. The light is pouring in, rich and amber, catching the dust motes dancing in the air. In this dream, the man standing by the window is not a monster in hiding. He is exactly what he seems, a man of immense learning, a scholar, a teacher. This is Palpatine, but a Palpatine who looked into the darkness and found a way to bring it into the light. Imagine him turning from the window. He is wearing robes of deep burgundy velvet, soft to the touch. His face is lined with age, but the eyes are kind, filled with a twinkle of secret knowledge. He moves to his desk and pours tea from a silver pot. The liquid is steaming, fragrant with herbs from Naboo, smelling of flowers and summer grass. He sits, and across from him sits Master Yoda. In this timeline, they are not enemies. They are two old masters sharing the twilight of their years, discussing the mysteries of the Force. Palpatine speaks softly, his voice a soothing baritone. He talks of a galaxy where the Jedi do not hide from their emotions, but understand them. He talks of the clone troopers not as weapons, but as peacekeepers, men given purpose and dignity. See the Jedi Temple in this vision. It is no longer a fortress of solitude. The gates are open. Children run in the gardens, their laughter mixing with the sound of fountains. Anakin Skywalker walks these halls, not tormented by secret fears, but open and proud. He walks hand in hand with Padme, and no one looks away, no one scolds. Palpatine has taught them that love is not a weakness, but the strongest connection to the Force. Anakin's turbulence has settled into a deep, protective calm. He teaches the younglings how to balance a stone on their finger, his mechanical hand moving with precision and grace. He smiles, a genuine, easy smile that reaches his eyes. The fear of loss that once kept him awake at night has evaporated, replaced by the assurance that everything is as it should be. The Clone Wars did not end in betrayal. They ended in a handshake. Palpatine, with his silver tongue and brilliant mind, wove a web not of lies, but of agreements. He brought the Separatists and the Republic together, finding the common ground that everyone else had missed. Now the galaxy is entering a golden age. The massive warships that once bristled with cannons are now being refitted as colony ships, carrying families to new worlds in the Outer Rim. You can see the ships leaving the atmosphere, great whales of steel swimming through the star sea, their lights blinking slowly. The sense of relief in the galaxy is palpable. It is the feeling of untying a tight knot, the feeling of setting down a heavy burden after a long walk. Palpatine and Yoda sit in the office as the sun finally dips below the horizon and the city lights flicker on, a carpet of bioluminescence stretching to infinity. They sip their tea in companionable silence, watching the day turn into night, satisfied that the future is safe. Drift away from the golden towers of Coruscant now. Let your mind float further back, to a time of lush green forests and stone palaces. We are traveling to Naboo, a planet of water and life. The air here is thick with moisture and the smell of moss. You are in the generator complex, a vast cavernous room with energy beams cycling periodically. The hum here is loud, rhythmic, a pulsing beat that resonates in your chest. Thrum, thrum, thrum. Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi are fighting a shadow, a warrior of red and black. But in this dream, the outcome shifts. The laser gates open at just the right moment. Master and apprentice move as one, a perfect synchronization of movement and intent. They are like water flowing around a rock. When the battle ends, the shadow is defeated, but something lingers. In the silence that follows the duel, standing over the fallen warrior, Qui-Gon feels a pull. It is not a pull of evil, but a pull of curiosity, of raw, untamed potential. He looks at Obi-Wan, his student, his brother. They are both breathing hard, the sweat cooling on their skin. They feel the adrenaline, the life force, the sheer power of the moment. And instead of pushing it away, they accept it. They realize that the Jedi way, with its strict denial and cold detachment, is only half the story. They feel the living force in a way they never have before. Wild, vibrant, dangerous, and beautiful. Imagine them leaving Naboo not as heroes returning to the Council, but as explorers setting off on their own path. They travel to the unknown regions, seeking ancient knowledge. Their robes change from the rough-spun beige to darker, richer fabrics, deep forest greens, midnight blues, charcoal grays. They are not Sith, they are not Jedi, they are something new. They move through the galaxy like wandering Ronin, guided only by the will of the Force. They find young Anakin, but they do not take him to the temple to be judged by short masters in tall chairs. They take him to the forests, to the deserts, to the hearts of storms. They teach him to scream at thunder and to whisper to the grass. Qui-Gon's defiance becomes a philosophy of absolute freedom. He teaches that to serve the Force is to feel everything, the joy, the sorrow, the rage, the peace. Obi-Wan, ever the loyal student, finds a new kind of discipline in this wildness. He becomes the anchor to Qui-Gon's storm. They sit around campfires on unnamed planets, the flames crackling and popping, casting long shadows against the rocks. Anakin sleeps nearby, wrapped in a cloak, dreaming of dragons and stars. Qui-Gon speaks of the balance, how day needs night, how growth needs decay. It is a primitive, earthy wisdom far removed from the sterile halls of Coruscant. As they travel, they change the worlds they touch. On Mandalore, Obi-Wan does not turn away from Duchess Satine. He returns to her. He stands by her side, not as a Jedi protector, but as a partner. His love for her becomes a shield for her people. The darksaber is not a weapon of conquest, but a symbol of unity. Mandalore flourishes, blending its warrior past with a pacifist future, guided by a man who understands that peace must sometimes be fought for, but always with a heart full of love. The galaxy becomes a tapestry of these stories, woven by two renegade Jedi who dared to ask, what if, and why not? They are the Grey Wanderers, the Shadow Walkers, bringing balance simply by being true to themselves. Let that image of the campfire fade into the embers. The sparks drift up into the night sky and become stars again. Now, shift your gaze to a different kind of power. Imagine a small, green figure, ancient and wrinkled, resting on a cushion of floating metal. This is Yoda, but his eyes are not the eyes of the playful hermit you know. They are the eyes of an emperor. In this timeline, the centuries of watching, of waiting, of seeing the same mistakes repeated over and over finally sparked a change in the old master. He realized that guidance was not enough. He realized that for true peace to exist, there needed to be a hand firm enough to hold it. Picture the Senate chamber, vast and circular. Thousands of pods float in the air, but there is no shouting. There is total silence. In the center, on the central podium, Yoda sits. He does not need to shout. His voice, though rasping and small, is amplified by the Force itself, carrying to every ear, into every mind. Order we shall have, he says. And there is order. It is a rule of absolute wisdom. There is no corruption because he senses it before it happens. There are no secret plots because he sees the future as clearly as the present. The clone troopers are not soldiers of war. They are the builders of civilization, constructing bridges, hospitals, libraries on worlds that have been forgotten. Anakin Skywalker stands at Yoda's right hand. He is dressed in robes of pure white. He is the hand of the Emperor, the enforcer of the peace. But he is calm. Yoda has taught him that control is the ultimate power. Anakin does not need to fear for Padme because under Yoda's rule, the galaxy is safe. The medical technologies of 1,000 worlds are shared freely. Death in childbirth is a thing of the dark past. Anakin travels from system to system, not to conquer, but to implement the Grand Master's wisdom. He brings rain to desert worlds and warmth to frozen moons. The Jedi Order is transformed. It is no longer a monastic sect separate from the world. It is the government. Every governor, every judge, every leader is a trained Force user, personally selected by Yoda. They rule with compassion, but it is a compassion with teeth. They understand that to protect the sheep, one must sometimes scare the wolf. It is a benevolent dictatorship, a garden where the gardener prunes every weed the moment it sprouts. The galaxy is green and growing, manicured and perfect. It is quiet, so very quiet. Conflict has been meditated away. Disagreement is resolved through shared visions in the Force. You can imagine drifting through this galaxy, flying your ship from one paradise world to another, knowing that you are watched over by a being who has lived for 900 years and who wants nothing more than for you to be safe, whether you want to be or not. The scene shifts again. The green of Yoda's empire dissolves into the soft purple hues of twilight. We find ourselves walking down the corridors of the Jedi Temple again, but the atmosphere is heavy, electric, charged with the scent of ozone and storms. We are following Mace Windu, the tall, imposing master with the amethyst blade. He walks with a purposeful stride, his boots echoing on the marble floor. Click, clack, click, clack. A rhythmic, hypnotic sound. In this story, Mace Windu did not stop at the edge of the darkness. He looked into the Shatterpoint, the fault line of the galaxy, and he realized that the only way to fix the break was to control it completely. He enters the Chancellor's office not to arrest, but to challenge. The duel is a dance of shadows and violet light. But when Palpatine falls, Windu does not hand power back to a corrupt Senate. He takes the seat. He sits in the chair, and the weight of it feels right. He views the galaxy through the lens of the Shatterpoint. He sees the weaknesses in everything, in the laws, in the economy, in the hearts of men, and he begins to fix them. His rule is one of crystalline perfection. It is sharp, precise, and unyielding. The Force is not a river to him. It is a structure, a lattice of connections that must be maintained. Under Windu's guidance, the Jedi become the Shatterpoint Guard. They wear armor of gray and purple. They are silent sentinels standing on the corners of every street in the core worlds. They do not speak, they only watch. Crime virtually disappears because the intent to commit a crime is sensed and stopped before action is taken. It is a world of preemptive peace. Windu sits in the high tower, meditating, his mind a web stretching across the stars, holding everything in place through sheer force of will. It is a tense piece, like a violin string pulled tight, humming with potential energy, but it holds. The galaxy vibrates with a low, intense frequency, a deep purple hum that resonates in your bones, grounding you, holding you still. Now let the tension fade, let the purple light soften into the cool blues and grays of a starship interior. We are aboard the Millennium Falcon. The engine is purring, a familiar, comforting sound, but the lighting is lower, moodier. In the pilot's seat sits Han Solo. He has just come out of the carbonite, but the hibernation sickness has left him changed. The cold didn't just freeze his body, it froze his heart, slowed it down to a rhythmic, icy beat. He is no longer the reckless smuggler with a laugh and a shrug. He is calculating, smooth, a shadow in the underworld. Han moves his hands over the controls. He flies the Falcon not with wild maneuvers, but with surgical precision. He knows exactly where to go, exactly which hyperspace lanes are unmonitored. He has built an empire not of politics, but of favors and debts. He sits in the dim light of the cockpit, the stars streaking by, and he feels a strange connection to the void. The Force, which he once mocked, whispers to him now. It tells him where the patrols are. It tells him which card to play in Sabacc. He is the king of the underworld, a phantom that moves through the galaxy's veins. Chewbacca is there, loyal as ever, a warm, furry presence in the shadows. But they are quieter now. They communicate in glances and nods. They run the biggest smuggling operation the galaxy has ever seen, but it runs like a clock. Goods move from the outer rim to the core without a single Imperial scan. Han Solo, the man who was frozen in time, has become the master of timing. He leans back in his pilot's chair, boots up on the console, watching the blue vortex of hyperspace. It is a hypnotic spiral, turning and turning. He is wealthy beyond imagination, powerful beyond measure, and completely, utterly free. No rebellion, no empire, just the open road and the endless deal. It is a cool, detached kind of freedom, adrift through the dark with the fastest ship in the galaxy. As we leave the Falcon, we drift toward a different sector of space to the sandy dunes of Tatooine and then up into the sky to the bridge of a massive warship. But this ship does not bear the Imperial cog. It bears a new symbol, a skull in a circle, the Mythosaur. Here stands Boba Fett. But he is not a solitary hunter anymore. He stands on the bridge of a liberated Star Destroyer, his armor painted in new colors, the colors of rebellion and restoration. The silence of the carbon freezing chamber changed him too. It made him think. It made him remember his father, not as a donor for an army, but as a man. Boba Fett looks out at the fleet assembled around him. It is a ragtag fleet, Mandalorian gauntlets, stolen Imperial cruisers, modified freighters. He has united the bounty hunters, the mercenaries, the people who live on the edge. He realized that the Empire was bad for business, bad for freedom. So he turned his skills to a new contract, the freedom of the galaxy. He is a pragmatic leader. There are no speeches about hope and magic. There are briefings on supply lines, shield harmonics, and structural weaknesses. He runs the rebellion like a business, and business is good. Luke Skywalker stands with him in this vision, the farm boy and the hunter. Boba teaches Luke how to shoot, how to move, how to think 3 steps ahead. Luke teaches Boba that there is more to life than the next payout. Together, they are unstoppable. They dismantle the Empire piece by piece, systematically, efficiently. It is a satisfying dismantling, like taking apart a broken engine to build something better. The galaxy watches as the man in the mask, the man everyone feared, becomes the symbol of their liberation. The green armor of Boba Fett becomes a beacon of safety. When his ship Slave One descends through the clouds, people do not run in fear. They look up with relief. The distinct sound of its engines is a promise that help has arrived. Let us float now to a place of mist and red light, the planet Dathomir. But the red is not angry here. It is the soft, warm glow of a swamp at sunset. The mists swirl around the twisted trees. 2 brothers stand in a clearing, Maul and Savage. Their skin is tattooed in intricate patterns, but their eyes are clear. They are not yellow with corruption. They are a deep, soulful hazel. In this timeline, the Night Mother Talzin made a choice of love over power. She sent her sons away to be safe to the Jedi. Imagine Maul in Jedi robes. They are cut differently, perhaps sleeveless to allow for his acrobatic movements, colored in earth tones of brown and ochre. He holds a lightsaber, double-bladed still, but the beams are a brilliant, purifying yellow. He moves through a kata, a practice routine, and it is like watching a dance. He is fluid, graceful, a whirlwind of controlled energy. Savage Opress is beside him, a mountain of a man, but gentle. He moves with slow, deliberate strength. They are the guardians of the Outer Rim. They understand the darkness because they were born in it, but they choose the light every single day. They travel the galaxy as a pair, inseparable. They are the brothers who could not be broken. When they encounter the Sith, they do not fight with hate. They fight with a sad understanding. Maul speaks to his opponents, his voice raspy but calm, telling them that they do not have to be slaves to their anger. He knows the chains of the dark side, and he knows how to break them. Savage uses his immense strength to shield the innocent, standing like a wall against the storm. They are beloved by the people of the fringe worlds, the alien species that the core worlds ignore. They are the Zabrak Jedi, the horned protectors, bringing a fierce tribal kind of justice to the lawless places. To watch them is to watch a perfect balance of power and restraint, a harmony of 2 souls moving as one. Drift further now to a castle on a cliff overlooking a sea of clouds, Sereno. Count Dooku stands on the balcony. He is an elegant man, tall and regal, with a silver beard and a cape that flutters in the mountain breeze. In this dream, he never left the light. He saw the corruption of the Republic and he decided to fix it, not destroy it. He stayed. He became the reformer. He used his vast wealth and his title not to buy droid armies, but to fund schools, to rebuild crumbling infrastructure, to hire the best investigators to root out corruption in the Senate. He stands with his former Padawan, Qui-Gon, and his grand Padawan, Obi-Wan. They form a lineage of mavericks, of thinkers. Dooku debating with Yoda is not a confrontation. It is a masterclass in philosophy. Dooku argues for action, for engagement. He pushes the Jedi to step down from their high towers and walk among the people. and they listen. Because he is Dooku, and he speaks with the authority of kings. He uncovers the plot of the Sith long before it can come to fruition. He finds the chips in the clones. He reveals the hidden accounts of the Trade Federation. He dismantles the Sith plan with a data pad and a signature, destroying the conspiracy with the stroke of a pen rather than the swing of a sword. It is the victory of the intellect. The Clone Wars never happen. The galaxy transitions peacefully into a reformed republic, guided by a Jedi Order that has learned to be part of the world again. Dooku looks out over his world, the sun setting on a grateful galaxy, and he smiles. A true, proud smile of a man who has fulfilled his duty. And finally, for this part of our journey, let us go to the unknown regions, to a mobile planetoid, Starkiller base. But it is silent. The weapon is dormant. The snow falls softly on the forest of the surface. In a clearing, a young man with dark hair and intense eyes is kneeling in the snow. Ben Solo. He is not Kylo Ren. He never took that name. The moment the darkness rose in him, he did not run to it. He stopped. He breathed. He looked at the legacy of his grandfather, Anakin, and he saw the tragedy. He looked at his uncle Luke and saw the fear, and he decided to be better than both of them. He stands up, the snowflakes catching in his hair. He ignites his lightsaber. It is not red. It is a shimmering, unstable mix of blue and violet, a blade that hums with a complex, beautiful sound. He has found the balance within himself. He accepts his anger, his passion, but he does not let it rule him. He uses it to fuel his compassion. He has gathered others like him, the Knights of Ren, but they are a band of protectors, patrolling the wild spaces where the New Republic cannot reach. They are the wandering knights of the New Age. Ben reaches out through the Force and he feels a connection, a bright thread of light leading to a scavenger girl on a desert planet. He does not hunt her. He whispers to her across the stars, "You are not alone." He guides her. He waits for her. He knows that when they meet, they will not be enemies. They will be the dyad, the two halves of a whole that will finally bring true balance to the Force. He deactivates his saber, the light vanishing into the gray winter afternoon. He walks back through the snowy forest, his footsteps silent, a lone figure content in his path, watching the snowflakes fall, one by one, covering the world in a blanket of white peace. Let these images settle in your mind. The city in the clouds, the golden office, the campfire, the green empire, the purple tower, the silent cockpit, the liberated fleet, the brothers in light, the noble castle, and the snowy forest. All of them existing at once in the infinite ocean of the Force. All of them quiet. All of them resolved. As you drift deeper into sleep, know that in the vastness of the galaxy there is a place for every story and a peaceful ending for every path. The stars are watching over you, and the Force is with you, always. Breath in deeply again, deeper than before. Feel the air traveling down into your chest, expanding your ribs, filling you with a clean, cool energy. And as you exhale, imagine a wave of relaxation washing over you, starting from the top of your head, flowing down over your face, smoothing out your forehead, relaxing your jaw, flowing down your neck, into your shoulders, and down your arms. Your hands are heavy, your legs are heavy, your entire body is sinking into the surface beneath you. You are completely supported. You are completely safe. The stories of the galaxy are waiting for you, drifting in the ether, ready to be observed like clouds passing across a moonlit sky. We return to the velvet silence of space, to the alternate paths where destiny took a different turn, leading not to chaos, but to a different kind of quiet. Let your mind drift to the sprawling city planet of Coruscant, but not the shiny upper levels this time. Drift down, slowly, past the skyscrapers and the sky lanes, down into the depths where the light is dim and the air is thick with mist and neon. It is a world of shadows, but in this darkness, there is a sanctuary. Here walks Ahsoka Tano. In this timeline, the betrayal she felt by the Jedi Council did not lead her to a path of neutral wandering, but to a path of dark, crystallized purpose. Imagine her moving through the fog-laden streets. She moves with a silence that is absolute. Her footsteps make no sound on the damp metal. The ambient noise of the city, the distant hum of ventilation fans, the drip of condensation, masks her presence completely. She is a ghost in the machine. She wears cloaks of charcoal and deep crimson, fabrics that swallow the light. She has found a new teacher in the shadows, a former Sith, Maul, who offered her not madness, but a method to her pain. Together, they have created a sanctuary in the underworld. It is not a place of evil, but a place of unyielding strength. Visualize a large hidden chamber, perhaps an abandoned industrial hall, illuminated by the soft red glow of their lightsabers. The red is not angry. It is the color of embers in a dying fire, warm and constant. Ahsoka moves through her katas, her two blades spinning in perfect hypnotic circles. The white crystals she once carried have bled red, reflecting the intensity of her focus. She is teaching others now, those who were cast out, those who were left behind. In this vision, Order 66 was not a massacre she fled from, but a storm she rode. She felt the shift in the Force, the great turning of the wheel, and she accepted it. She understood that the old order was like a dead tree that needed to fall so sunlight could reach the forest floor. Now, she stands as a pillar of a new kind of discipline. Her academy in the shadows is silent. Her students sit in circles, eyes closed, learning to channel their emotions, their fear, their anger, their sorrow, into a singular laser-like focus. Ahsoka walks among them, her presence a cool weight in the Force. She touches a shoulder here, corrects a posture there. There is no shouting. Instructions are given in whispers. It is a place of deep, introspective quiet. The Empire rules above, but down here in the roots of the world, Ahsoka Tano rules. She is the queen of the underworld, a dark guardian who ensures that while the galaxy may be under tyranny, her people are safe, protected by a perimeter of red light and absolute resolve. Let the red glow of the underworld fade into a cool, metallic blue. We are traveling now to a secret fortress hidden inside a hollow asteroid, drifting in the silent, starless void of the Kaladedo Nebula. The asteroid is jagged and dark on the outside, invisible to scanners, but inside, it is a marvel of engineering. This is the sanctuary of General Grievous, but listen closely, you do not hear the wheezing cough, the grating frustration. In this timeline, the cybernetic general found peace within the machine. As he hunted the Jedi, he began to listen to them. He began to understand the Force, not as a user, but as an observer. He realized that he was being used by Dooku, used by the Sith, and his warriors' honor rebelled against it. Imagine walking through the corridors of his fortress. The walls are smooth metal, polished to a mirror sheen. The air is filtered, clean, and smells faintly of oil and incense. Grievous stands in a central meditation chamber. His mechanical body is a work of art, plates of durasteel overlapping like the armor of an ancient knight. He stands perfectly still, his forearms resting at his sides. The servos in his limbs hum with a low, barely audible frequency. A sound that is rhythmic and soothing, like a large cat purring. He is surrounded not by trophies of death, but by the Jedi he has saved. He discovered the plot against the Jedi Order early. Instead of killing them, he spirited them away. He faked their deaths, leaving false evidence, and brought them here to his sanctuary. See the Jedi sitting on mats around him. There is Kit Fisto with his Nautoland tendrils drifting in the air. There is Shakti, meditating in silence. They have accepted the general not as a monster, but as a guardian. Grievous has learned from them. He cannot touch the Force, but he can feel its rhythm through them. He has modified his own body to be a vessel of protection. His sensors monitor their heartbeats, their breathing, ensuring they are healthy and calm. The lightsabers he collected are arranged on the walls, not as symbols of conquest, but as a library of history. Each one is polished, cared for. When the galaxy fell into darkness, this fortress became a lighthouse of preservation. Grievous moves to a console, his metal claws tapping lightly on the glass interface. He coordinates rescue missions, sending his personal Magna Guards, reprogrammed for stealth and non-lethal extraction, to pull Padawans from the wreckage of the war. He is the spectral savior, the ghost in the shell. The Jedi look at him and see a being who transcended his own broken body to become something whole. In this fortress, there is no war. There is only the quiet hum of the ventilation, the soft blue light of the nebula outside the viewports, and the enduring patience of a warrior who found his true cause. Now, let the image of the metal fortress dissolve. The blue nebula fades into the soft, natural colors of a lake country. Green hills rolling gently into the distance, sparkling waterfalls cascading down cliffs, and a vast, placid lake that reflects the twin moons of Naboo. The air is sweet with the scent of blooming vines. We are at the Varikino Villa, the retreat of the Skywalker family. In this beautiful timeline, Anakin Skywalker made a different choice. When the dreams of loss came to him, he did not hide them. He shared them. He spoke to Obi-Wan. He spoke to the Council. And instead of judgment, he found understanding. The fear lost its power when it was brought into the light. Imagine Anakin standing on the balcony of the villa. He is older now, a Jedi Master. His robes are loose and comfortable, made of soft linen in shades of dark brown and cream. His face is calm, the lines of worry smoothed away by years of peace. Inside the room behind him, Padme is sleeping soundly, safe and healthy. The twins, Luke and Leia, are no longer infants, but young adults, finding their own paths. But here, the story twists in a way that is quiet and profound. While Anakin found his balance, his son, Luke, born into peace and privilege, struggles with the fire in his blood. Anakin walks down to the edge of the lake where Luke is skipping stones. The water is glass still until a stone breaks the surface. Plip, 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 ripples spreading out in perfect circles. Luke is frustrated. He feels the power of the Skywalker bloodline, the immense potential, and he feels confined by the peace of the galaxy. He wants to do more, be more. He feels the pull of the dark side, not as a seduction of evil, but as a desire for action, for passion. Anakin sits on a large, smooth rock nearby. He does not scold. He does not lecture. He simply waits. He knows this fire. He remembers it. "Sit with me, son," Anakin says, his voice a low rumble, like distant thunder that promises rain but no storm. Luke sits. They watch the moons reflect in the water. Anakin teaches Luke the lesson that took him a lifetime to learn, that true power is not in the storm, but in the silence that follows. He shows Luke how to extend his senses into the water, to feel the fish swimming deep below, to feel the plants growing on the lake bed. He teaches Luke that the Force is not a weapon to be wielded, but a song to be harmonized with. In this timeline, the Jedi Order has changed because of Anakin. They are no longer monks in a tower. They are families. The villa is filled with life. Obi-Wan comes to visit, gray-haired and wise, sitting with Padme on the terrace, drinking tea and laughing about old adventures. The tension of the galaxy has dissipated. There is no emperor, no empire. Palpatine was exposed and removed by the Senate, a political problem solved by political means. The galaxy is a democracy, messy and slow, but free. And in the center of it, the Skywalkers are just a family. Anakin puts his hand on Luke's shoulder, a grounding weight. Luke breathes out, his frustration flowing into the earth, replaced by the calm of the night. The water laps gently against the shore. Hush, hush, hush. A lullaby for the most powerful bloodline in the stars, finally at rest. Drift away from the lake now. Rise up, higher and higher, leaving the atmosphere of Naboo, entering the starfield once more. We travel to the bridge of a star destroyer, the Tribunal, but the bridge is different. The lighting is not the harsh white of the Empire you know. It is a dim, operational amber. The crew works in absolute silence, a symphony of efficiency. At the viewport stands a figure in a mask, breathing rhythmically. This is not Vader. This is Plo Koon, the Keldor Jedi Master. In this timeline, when the clones turned, Plo Koon did not die. His mastery of the Force allowed him to catch his fighter, to glide it to the surface. He survived. But as he watched the galaxy burn, he watched the chaos that followed, and something in his logical, disciplined mind shifted. He saw the Empire rise, and he saw order. He saw that the Jedi, with their detachment, had allowed chaos to fester. He saw that the Republic was weak, and so he made a choice. He approached the new Emperor not as a prisoner, but as an applicant. Plo Koon stands on the bridge, his unique breath mask making a soft cycling sound. Hiss, click, hiss, click. It is a sound of life support, a sound of endurance. He wears the uniform of a Grand Admiral, black and crisp, but he keeps his Jedi mask. He has integrated the 104th Battalion, his wolf pack, back into his command. The clones are loyal to him, not because of chips, but because he is their father figure, their general. But he is darker now. He uses the Force to enforce absolute stillness in his sector. He patrols the Outer Rim. Smugglers and pirates do not fear the Empire there. They fear the Silent Admiral. When his fleet arrives, systems fall in line. There is no violence because resistance is illogical against such overwhelming power. Plo Koon sits in his command chair, fingers steepled, meditating. He uses the dark side, but cold, like the vacuum of space. He does not rage. He does not hate. He simply removes obstacles. He teaches his officers that emotion is a variable that must be eliminated from the equation of governance. Imagine the peace of his ship. The engines are a distant thrum. The stars outside are static lines of light. The crew moves with the synchronization of a single organism. Plo Koon reaches out with his mind, sensing the entire ship, every bolt, every wire, every soul. He holds it all in a telekinetic embrace. He has found a way to bring peace to the galaxy, a peace of total suspension, like an insect trapped in amber. It is a heavy, deep peace, devoid of conflict, devoid of noise. Under his watch, worlds are quiet. Cities sleep. The trade routes are silent rivers of commerce. To be in his presence is to feel the weight of a mountain, a comforting, crushing stability that demands you simply stop, surrender, and rest. Let the image of the silent admiral fade into the blackness of space. We move now to a scene of transformation on the planet of Sereno, but in the future. Count Dooku has long passed, but his legacy remains. We focus on a young woman, dark-haired and sharp-eyed, Asajj Ventress. In the original stories, she was a weapon, discarded and broken. But here, under the reformed Dooku's guidance, or perhaps in a timeline where she found the Jedi brothers Maul and Savage, she has become a Grey Paladin. She wanders the forests of a twilight world, a planet of eternal dusk. The trees are tall with silver bark and violet leaves. The ground is covered in soft, thick moss that cushions every step. Asajj wears tunic and trousers of simple gray cloth. She carries 2 lightsabers, but she rarely ignites them. When she does, they are silver, the color of moonlight. She is a seeker of lost things. She travels the galaxy, finding Force-sensitive children who have been overlooked, those who are too old for the Jedi, too wild for the Sith. She brings them to this twilight world. Visualize her clearing in the forest. There are small stone huts with thatched roofs, smoke rising gently from chimneys. It is a village of the forgotten. Asajj sits on a log, carving a piece of wood with a small knife. The children play around her, levitating small rocks, chasing will-o'-the-wisps. She watches them with a fierce, protective love. She teaches them that they do not need to choose a side. They do not need to be light or dark. They can just be. She tells them stories of the galaxy, of the wars and the heroes, but she tells them as cautionary tales. Peace, she whispers, her voice raspy but gentle, is not something you fight for. It is something you make right here inside you. She teaches them to listen to the wind in the violet leaves, to feel the moisture in the air. At night, the village is lit by bioluminescent fungi, glowing soft blue and green. Asajj patrols the perimeter, her silver blades casting long shadows. She is the guardian of the dusk, the watcher in the woods. There is no conflict here, only the slow cycle of nature, the rising of the moons, and the quiet breathing of a warrior who has finally put down her war. From the twilight woods, let us drift back to the bustling yet strangely orderly world of the Empire under Mace Windu. We revisit the Shatterpoint. Imagine the Jedi Temple, now the Palace of Order. The spires touch the clouds, glowing with a soft purple luminescence against the night sky. Inside, the halls are not empty. They are filled with scholars, with philosophers, with mathematicians. Mace Windu has turned the governance of the galaxy into a grand equation. He sits in the central spire, floating in deep meditation. He is older, his face etched with the lines of intense concentration. He visualizes the galaxy as a massive, complex crystal. He looks for the flaws, the cracks, the shatter points, and he heals them. Before a famine can start in the mid-rim, he diverts supply ships. Before a rebellion can spark on a mining world, he sends negotiators to address the grievances. He is the ultimate proactive ruler. He does not wait for the fire to start. He removes the flint. The citizens of this galaxy live in a predictable, rhythmic world. They know that tomorrow will be much like today. There is a comfort in that predictability. It is a world without surprises. The trains run on time, the weather is controlled, the news is calm. Mace Windu's mind touches billions of lives, a benevolent, stern grandfather who ensures that everyone plays by the rules. And because the rules are fair, the people sleep soundly. They sleep knowing that the man in the high tower is watching and that he will not let the crystal break. The hum of the city outside is a constant low drone of productivity and order, a white noise that blankets the planet in security. Now let us return to the very beginning, to a simple moisture farm on Tatooine. But it is night. The twin suns have set, and the desert is cooling rapidly. The sand radiates the heat of the day, but the air is crisp. The sky is a vast dome of infinite stars, clearer than anywhere else in the galaxy. In this timeline, Shmi Skywalker was not left behind. Qui-Gon Jinn returned for her. He bought her freedom. She is free. She stands in the courtyard of the homestead, looking up at the stars. It is quiet. The only sound is the wind whistling softly through the vaporators. Clank, hiss, clank, hiss. A rhythmic mechanical heartbeat of the farm. Inside, Klieg Lars is asleep. Anakin is not here. He is off among the stars, a Jedi, a hero, safe. Shmi wraps her shawl tighter around her shoulders. She feels a profound sense of completion. She is no longer a slave. She is a wife, a free woman, a mother who knows her son is fulfilling his destiny. She sits on a bench, closing her eyes, listening to the silence of the desert. It is a vast, empty silence that stretches for 1,000 miles in every direction. There are no speeders, no blasters, no huts, just the sand and the stars. She breathes in the cool night air, smelling the dry dust and the faint metallic tang of the moisture vaporators. She thinks of Anakin, and she sends a feeling of love out into the universe, a beacon of motherly warmth that travels faster than light. She knows he feels it. She knows he is safe. And in that knowledge, she finds the ultimate rest. She walks back into the warmth of the domed house, the door sliding shut with a soft whoosh, sealing out the cold, sealing in the peace. As we conclude this part of our journey, let all these images blend together. The red sanctuary of Ahsoka, the blue fortress of Grievous, the green lake of Anakin, the black bridge of Plo Koon, the violet woods of Asajj, and the starry desert of Shmi. They are all facets of the same jewel, turning slowly in the dark. The galaxy is a big place filled with infinite possibilities, but tonight, all those possibilities have led to peace. They have led to stillness. Feel your body sinking deeper into the mattress. The gravity of the Earth is holding you, just as the gravity of the stars holds the planets. You are part of this cosmic dance, a silent, sleeping traveler. The stories have been told. The characters are at rest. The lightsabers are deactivated. The ships are docked. The engines are cooling. There is nothing left to do but drift. Drift into the darkness behind your eyelids, where the stars are waiting to guide you into a deep, dreamless sleep. Let the stillness of the room wrap around you like a soft, heavy cloak. Feel the surface beneath you, solid and supporting, holding you up so you don't have to hold yourself. Release the muscles in your face, the tiny ones around your eyes, the tension in your jaw. Let your tongue rest gently on the floor of your mouth. Imagine a wave of warm, golden light starting at your toes, slowly moving up through your ankles, your calves, your knees, warming and softening every fiber of your being. Up through your hips, your stomach, your chest, relaxing your heart, slowing its beat to a calm, steady rhythm. Thump, 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 smooth and slow. We return now to the galaxy of dreams, drifting between the stars to find the quiet moments in timelines that might have been. These are not stories of conflict, but of resolution, of worlds that have found their own unique way to rest. Drift with me to the Imperial Palace on Coruscant, but in a time where the banners hanging from the spires are not the Galactic Empire's cog, but a new symbol, a stylized sun eclipse. This is the timeline where Luke Skywalker, the son of suns, took the throne not to destroy, but to control. He sits alone in the highest tower. The room is vast, circular, and dim. The only light comes from the massive thunderstorms that roll endlessly across the city planet's atmosphere far below. In this version of events, Luke did not stop at redemption. He accepted the full weight of his lineage. He defeated the old emperor and his father, and now he rules alone. But it is a rule of profound solitude and silence. Imagine the sound of rain lashing against the thick transparisteel windows, a constant rhythmic drumming. Tap, 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 hiss. It is the sound of the world outside trying to get in, but you are safe, dry, and warm inside. Luke sits on a simple meditation mat in the center of the room. He wears robes of deep midnight blue, heavy velvet that pools on the floor around him. He is not angry. He is not afraid. He is simply vast. He reaches out with his mind, not to crush, but to hold. He feels the billions of lives in the city below like points of light in a sea of darkness. He organizes them. He calms them. Under his rule, the chaotic noise of the galaxy has been dampened. He acts as a dampening field for the Force itself. When people feel panic, he absorbs it. When they feel rage, he cools it. It is a heavy burden, but he carries it with the stillness of a mountain. Watch him as he lights a single stick of incense. The smoke rises in a straight, unwavering line, gray against the dark blue. The scent is of sandalwood and rain. He breathes in, deep and slow, and the entire city seems to breathe with him. The chaotic traffic lanes are synchronized to his heartbeat. The lights of the speeders flow in perfect unison, arterial rivers of red and white light, flowing, flowing, flowing without obstruction. It is a mesmerizing sight. A galaxy moving in perfect clockwork time. Luke closes his eyes, and in the silence of his mind, there is only the hum of the rain and the deep, resonant peace of absolute order. Now, let the rain on the glass fade into the soft, rhythmic lapping of water against stone. We are traveling to a world of glass and steel, surrounded by a biodome of protection, Mandalore. But this is not a war-torn ruin. It is a jewel of civilization, ruled by the dark duo, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Duchess Satine. In this timeline, Obi-Wan did not deny his attachment. He embraced it, and together they forged a new path. Imagine walking through the capital city of Sundari. The architecture is sharp, geometric, beautiful. The walls are made of a special glass that filters the harsh desert sun into a cool, soothing twilight blue. The air is conditioned, crisp, and clean. Obi-Wan walks the halls of the ducal palace. He wears armor, but it is ceremonial, painted in shades of slate gray and silver, quiet colors. He does not carry himself with the weary weight of a general, but with the regal grace of a consort. He enters the throne room where Satine waits. It is a quiet domestic scene. They are looking over data pads, planning trade routes, ensuring the prosperity of their people. The silence here is the silence of a library or a museum. The Mandalorian guards stand like statues in the alcoves, their armor polished to a mirror shine, reflecting the blue light. They do not move. They do not speak. They are the silent watchers. Obi-Wan stands by the massive window looking out over the biodome. Outside, the desert sands of Mandalore blow in the wind, a chaotic storm of beige and brown, but inside, everything is still. He places his hand on the glass, feeling the cold surface. He feels the contrast between the chaos outside and the order inside. He has used the ancient, forbidden techniques not to destroy, but to preserve. He has bound the warrior spirit of Mandalore to a code of stillness. The Mandalorians channel their aggression into art, into architecture, into perfection. Imagine the sound of wind chimes made of Beskar steel hanging in the palace gardens. When the internal recyclers blow a gentle breeze, they sing a low, resonant, metallic song. Cling. Cling. It is a sound that vibrates in the chest, grounding and centering. Obi-Wan sits beside Satine, and they drink cool water from silver goblets, watching the sandstorm rage harmlessly outside their bubble of peace. They are safe. They are together. And the galaxy leaves them alone. Drift away from the cool blues of Mandalore. Let the colors shift to the warm, dim ambers and browns of a private counting room. We are in the heart of a criminal empire, but it feels more like a treasury. This is the domain of Han Solo, the wealthiest being in the Outer Rim. But the chaos of smuggling is behind him. Now there is only the rhythm of the count. The room is small, cozy, lined with shelves of physical credits, rare metals, and precious gems. The lighting is low, focused on a heavy wooden desk. Han sits there. He is older, his hair silvered, his face relaxed. He is not running from Imperials. He is not dodging bounty hunters. And he is simply counting. Listen to the sound. Clink, slide, clink, slide. He is stacking credits, gold chips, silver squares, heavy turning wheels of whoop-yoopy. The sound is repetitive, hypnotic. It is the ASMR of wealth. He picks up a stack, feels the weight of the metal cool and smooth against his fingertips, and places it in a tray. Clink. He picks up another. Clink. Chewbacca is there, sitting in a large plush chair in the corner, asleep. His breathing is a deep, rumbling snore that acts as a white noise machine for the room. Shh. Shh. Han smiles at the sound. Outside this room, he controls fleets of ships, massive casinos, entire spaceports. But here, it is just the tactile sensation of success. He runs his hand over a piece of coaxium, feeling its cold, smooth surface. He arranges diamonds on a velvet cloth, watching how they catch the low light. It is a slow, meticulous process. He is organizing his empire, piece by piece, credit by credit. There is no urgency. The deals are done, the contracts are signed, the hyperlanes are clear. He leans back in his leather chair, the leather creaking softly and closes his eyes, listening to the hum of the ventilation and the rhythmic snoring of his best friend. It is a simple, grounded peace, born of material security and the satisfaction of a game well played. Let's go deeper into the machinery of this timeline. Walk with me down a short corridor to the maintenance bay. Here, the air smells of ozone and machine oil. It is a clean smell, sharp and functional. C-3PO and R2-D2 are here, but they have been changed by Han's new outlook. They are not anxious. They are not frantic. They are perfectly tuned instruments. Han has reprogrammed them for efficiency and silence. R2-D2 sits in a diagnostic cradle. A mechanical arm slowly buffs his dome. Whir, shh, whir, shh. The blue and white metal gleams. R2 gives a low, contented warble, a sound like a soft bubble popping underwater. Bloop, whew. It is a sleepy, happy sound. C-3PO stands nearby, undergoing a calibration cycle. His golden plating is duller, more matte, designed not to reflect glare. He does not speak in a high-pitched worry. He hums. It is a low, harmonic frequency designed to cancel out background noise. He is processing data, organizing Han's shipping manifests. The lights on his chest blink in a slow, steady pattern. Green, off. Green, off. Watch the rhythmic movement of the tools. A hydro spanner turning a bolt. Click, click, click. Precise, tight, secure. There is something deeply relaxing about watching machines work perfectly. No sparks, no smoke, just the seamless integration of hardware and software. The droids are at rest in their own way, communing with the data stream, safe in the heart of the Solo Fortress. The workshop is a sanctuary of logic and function, a place where everything fits, everything works, and nothing is ever lost. Now let the mechanical sounds fade. Let the metal walls dissolve into organic matter. We are going back to the timeline of Emperor Yoda, but we're going to the heart of the Senate building. In this vision, Yoda has decided that steel and glass are not the way of the Force. Nature is the way. The Senate rotunda has been transformed. The roof has been opened to the sky. Massive vines, thick as starships, curl down from the upper levels, wrapping around the floating pods. The floor of the Senate is no longer polished stone. It is a swamp, lush and vibrant, a piece of Dagobah brought to the core of the galaxy. The air is thick, humid, and warm. It smells of wet earth, blooming orchids, and deep ancient water. Mist hangs in the air, softening all the edges. You can hear the sound of water dripping from the leaves high above. Plip, plop, plip. It echoes in the vast chamber. Yoda sits on a moss-covered podium in the center. He is sleeping, or meditating. It is hard to tell. His breathing is so slow it is almost imperceptible. Around him, the senators do not shout. They whisper. They sit in their pods, which are now lined with cushions of woven grass. They discuss the affairs of the galaxy while drinking tea made from root bark. Small creatures, bogwings and lizards, flit through the air. The Senate has become a terrarium. The humidity makes everyone move slower, speak softer. The frantic energy of politics has been replaced by the slow, creeping growth of a forest. Decisions are made not in hours, but in seasons. Wait, we shall, Yoda says. See what grows, we will. Imagine drifting in one of the Senate pods, floating gently on a repulsor lift current. You are surrounded by green leaves the size of tables. The light filtering down is dappled in green. It is the ultimate treehouse, a legislative body that naps in the afternoon heat. The galaxy slows down to match the pace of a growing plant. Roots twist around the metal structures, reclaiming them, holding them tight. You feel held by the nature around you, cocooned in the warm, wet breath of the living force. Finally, for this leg of the journey, let us travel to the pristine, snow-capped mountains of Alderaan. In a timeline where Anakin Skywalker never fell, where he and Padme raised their children in peace, we find Leia Organa Skywalker. But she is not a soldier. She is a scholar and a diplomat, a Jedi of the mind. She is in the Royal Library of Alderaan, a massive room carved into the living rock of the mountain. The walls are lined with thousands of physical books and glowing data crystals. Outside the tall windows, snow is falling gently, blanketing the peaks in white silence. Leia sits at a large wooden desk. She is wearing heavy winter robes of white and silver. She is reading an ancient text, turning the pages slowly. Crinkle. Shh. Crinkle. Shh. The sound of paper is rare and grounding. The room is heated by a large stone fireplace where logs of Vrasher wood burn with a steady, crackling warmth. Pop. Hiss. Crackle. She looks up as the door opens softly. Bail Organa enters, older now, walking with a cane that taps rhythmically on the stone floor. He smiles at her. They do not need to speak. The bond between them is one of deep, quiet love. He sits in an armchair by the fire, watching the flames. Leia returns to her reading. She is studying the history of the Force, looking for ways to heal worlds damaged by the ancient wars. She writes notes with a stylus, the scratching sound blending with the fire. In this life, she has never held a blaster. She has never seen a planet destroyed. Her eyes are bright and unburdened. She stops to sip from a mug of steaming hot chocolate, rich and sweet. Through the Force, she feels her brother Luke on Naboo, skipping stones. She feels her father Anakin teaching at the temple. She feels the web of her family stretching across the stars, a safety net that catches everyone. She watches the snow pile up on the windowsill, burying the world in softness. The light in the room is golden and flickering, casting long, dancing shadows that lull the eyes. It is a scene of perfect academic peace, of a life spent in the pursuit of wisdom, surrounded by the silent majesty of the mountains. As these scenes drift through your mind, the rainy tower of the Emperor, the glass halls of Mandalore, the counting room of the Crime Lord, the swampy Senate, and the snowy library, let them merge into a single feeling, a feeling of heaviness, a feeling of completion. The characters you know so well are not running, they are not fighting, they are sitting, they are reading, they are sleeping. They have found their places in the galaxy, and they are content. The hyperdrives are powered down, the lightsabers are hung on the walls, the blasters are locked away. The galaxy turns slowly on its axis. The stars twinkle in the velvet void, distant and cold, but you are warm. You are part of this story, a silent observer floating through the peaceful aftermath of destiny. Let your breathing match the slow rhythm of the Senate swamp, in and out. Let your heartbeat match the rhythmic counting of the credits. Thump, thump. You are drifting deeper now, past the outer rim, past the unknown regions, into the deep, quiet dark of your own rest. Let your body sink further into the mattress, as if the bed itself is rising up to meet you, cradling every curve, supporting every muscle. Feel the gentle pull of gravity, not as a weight, but as a grounding force, anchoring you to this moment of absolute stillness. The day is done. The stories have been told. The galaxy is settling down for the long, quiet night. Listen to the sound of your own breath, a soft tide moving in and out, matching the rhythm of the universe. We drift now to the edge of the galaxy, to a planet composed almost entirely of ocean and rock, hidden in the unknown region. This is the home of the balance. In this timeline, the war between the light and the dark did not end in destruction, but in a marriage of opposites. We find Ben Solo and Rey here. They are not fighting, they are building. Imagine a small island, craggy and green, rising from the steel-gray sea. The waves crash against the cliffs below. Crash, hush, crash, hush. A rhythm as old as time. It is raining, a soft, misty rain that covers the world in a veil of gray. Ben and Rey sit in a stone hut, a structure that has stood for 1,000 years. The walls are made of rough-hewn rocks, fitted together without mortar, thick enough to keep out the wind. Inside, a small fire burns in the hearth. It is not a roaring blaze, but a bed of glowing coals, radiating a steady, deep heat. Ben sits on a rug of woven wool, his legs crossed. He is no longer torn. The jagged scar on his soul has healed. He wears a tunic of simple, undyed fabric. He holds a kyber crystal in his hand. It is cracked, but he is not trying to fix it with force. He is healing it with patience. He pours his energy into it, a slow, steady stream of acceptance. The crystal glows with a soft, pulsing light, red, then purple, then blue, then white. It is a heartbeat of light in the dim room. Rey sits opposite him. She is reading from the ancient Jedi text, but the pages are soft and worn like fabric. She runs her fingers over the ink, feeling the history. The connection between them, the dyad, is open. It is not a noisy channel of voices, but a silent river of shared feeling. She feels his calm. He feels her peace. They are two pillars holding up the sky. Outside, the porgs are nesting in the cliffs, making soft, cooing sounds as they settle in for the night. Coo, coo. Sleep. The rain taps gently on the stone roof. Tap, tap. It is the most secluded place in the galaxy, a sanctuary where the force is perfectly balanced, spinning slowly like a coin on a table, never falling to one side or the other. Drift away from the sound of the ocean. Let the gray mist clear and reveal a golden light. We are traveling to the planet of Felucia, but not the Felucia of war. The giant exotic plants are in bloom. Towering mushrooms the size of skyscrapers cast long, cooling shadows. The air is thick with pollen and the scent of sweet nectar. Here, in a village suspended in the canopy, live the clones. In this timeline, the chips were removed, the war ended, and the army was given a planet. Captain Rex is here. He is an old man now, his white beard thick and soft. He sits on the porch of a dwelling made from a repurposed gunship, now covered in vines and flowers. The metal that once deflected blaster bolts now supports climbing roses. Rex is whittling a piece of wood. He is carving a toy for a child. Around him, the 501st Legion is at rest. They are not marching. They are farming. They are tending to the giant jellygrub beetles, gentle creatures that hum as they graze. You can hear the hum, a low vibration that resonates through the jungle. The clones have taken off their white armor. It hangs on stands in their homes, polished and clean, but silent. It is a reminder of the past, nothing more. Rex looks out over the canopy. The suns are setting, painting the sky in violets and oranges. He watches the fireflies begin to dance, thousands of tiny lights blinking in the twilight. He feels a deep ache in his joints, but it is a good ache, the ache of a day spent working the land, not fighting a war. He closes his eyes and listens to the sounds of his brothers laughing softly in the distance, the clinking of dinner plates, the rustle of the wind in the giant leaves. They are free. They are individuals. They are safe. The ultimate soldier has found the ultimate peace, a quiet evening with nowhere to go and no orders to follow. Let the jungle fade into the soft white vastness of a medical station. But this is not a sterile hospital. It is the Polis Massa Haven. In this timeline, Padme Amidala survived. She lives here in this asteroid facility that has been converted into a sanctuary of healing. The walls are translucent, revealing the slow, silent dance of the asteroids outside. Padme walks through the corridors. She is the galaxy's mother. She has retired from the Senate, leaving the politics to the younger generation. She spends her days documenting the history of the democracy she saved. She wears gown of soft, flowing silk in shades of lavender and pale blue. The fabric rustles softly as she walks. Swish, swish. She enters the observation deck. It is a large dome of glass looking out into the nebula. The colors are breathtaking, swirls of pink, blue, and gold gas frozen in the vacuum. It is like watching a painting that takes 1,000,000 years to dry. She sits in a floating chair, watching the stars. She thinks of Anakin, safe on Naboo. She thinks of Luke and Leia. She feels a profound sense of accomplishment. The galaxy is not perfect, but it is whole. A medical droid, silent and hovering, brings her a cup of tea. She wraps her hands around the warm ceramic. She sips the tea, feeling the warmth spread through her chest. She watches a freighter drift past the window, its running lights blinking slowly. Blink, blink, blink. She is the keeper of the memory, the one who remembers how close it all came to ending, and who treasures the quiet that came instead. She leans back, her eyes heavy, lulled by the silent majesty of the cosmos turning outside her window. Now let us travel to a place that does not exist on any map, the world between worlds. But in this dream, it is not a place of portals and choices. It is a river. Imagine a stream of pure liquid starlight flowing through a void of velvet black. There is no up or down here. You are floating in the current of time itself. The voices of the past echo here, but they are not shouting, they are whispering lullabies. You hear the wisdom of Qui-Gon Jinn, a deep, resonant hum in the water. Let go, let go. You hear the gentle reassurance of Shmi Skywalker. Don't look back, only forward. You hear the laughter of Han Solo. The river carries you gently. The water is warm, made of memories and dreams. You see images floating past you like leaves on the surface. There is the Millennium Falcon, flying through a cloud of pink gas, its engines quiet. There is the Death Star, but it is not a weapon. It is a moon, overgrown with forests, a testament to nature reclaiming the machine. There's a lightsaber, deactivated, sinking slowly to the bottom of a clear lake, its crystals sleeping. This river connects all the timelines we have visited. It flows from the rain of Ashto to the swamps of Dagobah, from the deserts of Tatooine to the glass cities of Mandalore. It binds them all together in a web of peace. You are part of this river. You are flowing with the Force, drifting toward a sea of infinite calm. There is no resistance here. The current is strong and slow, carrying you effortlessly. You can stop swimming. You can just float. Let the river deposit you gently on the softest surface imaginable. We are in the Cloud City of Bespin again, but in the timeline where Lando Calrissian turned the city into a resort for the weary. We are in the highest suite, the one in the central spire. The walls are open to the air, but a force field keeps the wind to a gentle breeze. The bed is massive, a circle of floating cushions. The sheets are made of spun Tibanna gas fibers, impossibly soft and cool. You lie down. The mattress conforms to your body perfectly. Above you, the orange clouds of Bespin are turning to a deep, bruised purple as night falls. The city lights below are coming on, a galaxy of amber dots mirrored by the stars above. You can hear the distant, melodic chime of the cloud cars. Hum, whoosh, hum, whoosh. It is a sound of civilization at rest. Lando has ensured that this city is a haven. There is no empire here, no rebellion, just the mining of gas and the enjoyment of the view. The air smells of ozone and vanilla. As you lie there, you feel the entire city floating. It bobs gently in the atmosphere, a massive ship on a sea of air, up and down, microscopic movements that rock you like a cradle. You are suspended high above the troubles of the ground, high above the worries of the past. You are in the clouds, and the clouds are soft. Now, look up at the sky one last time. The stars are not just points of light, they are the eyes of the Force, watching over you. In every timeline we have visited, the conflict has ended. The Sith have found peace in power, the Jedi have found peace in balance, the clones have found peace in freedom, the smugglers have found peace in wealth, the rebels have found peace in victory, and you have found peace in sleep. Visualize the galaxy as a map in your mind. One by one, the lights of the systems are dimming. Coruscant fading to a soft glow. Sleep. Tatooine, the twin suns are gone, the desert is cool. Sleep. Naboo, the lakes are still, the waterfalls are quiet. Sleep, Endor, the forest is dark, the Ewoks are curled in their huts. Sleep. Hoth, the snow is falling in the silence. Sleep. The map is dark now, save for the gentle, rhythmic pulsing of the Force itself. It beats like a slow heart. Thump, thump, thump. It is the heartbeat of the universe, and it is beating for you. It tells you that everything is okay. It tells you that you have done enough. It tells you that the story can pause here. Feel your eyelids becoming heavier than the blast doors of a starship. They are sealed shut. Your breathing is deep and slow, like the tides of Mon Cala. Your mind is quiet, like the vacuum of space. You are drifting, floating, sinking into the dark, warm, endless expanse of sleep. May the Force be with you, in your dreams, always.